Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webcast, 1PPM Pre-Configured and Enhanced User Experience for Microsoft Project and Portfolio Management. My name is Mike Otranto, and I'm a Strategic Account Specialist at Wickersoft. I'm also joined on today's webcast with Doug Welsby, our Senior Solutions Specialist. The line will not be open for questions, but please feel free to leverage the chat module within your GoToWebinar panel to ask your questions. We will be monitoring the chat panel throughout today's presentation. Feel free to email either myself or Doug directly, and we will be happy to answer your questions. We'll be including our contact information at the end of the webinar. If for some reason you get distracted or pulled away during the webinar, no need to worry. I will be emailing the recording and the slide deck of today's presentation later on today. I will now hand off the webcast to Doug Welsby. Doug?
Thanks, Mike, and good afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending on where you are. Welcome to this walkthrough of Wickersoft's 1PPM. 1PPM, as you see from the title slide, is a pre-configured and an enhanced user experience for Microsoft Project and Portfolio Management. What we've done is we've taken our years of best practices and our consulting experience and wrapped that into a pre-configured rollout or deployment of Project Online and branded this 1PPM. So with 1PPM, you get a set of best practices, some pre-configured views, custom fields, reports, a number of other elements that are going to help you really quickly get up and running with Project Online using the 1PPM pre-config and starting to realize a return on the investment that you've made with Microsoft's Project Online solution. Basically, we get you up and running as quickly as possible, seeing value and realizing value in the solution. So what's Microsoft PPM? So what Project and Portfolio Management from Microsoft, the Project Online solution is a tool to help you deliver on your business strategies through high impact outcomes. So you might have an organizational PPM lifecycle in use within your organization. It might still be under development, or it might be very mature and robust. But most PPM lifecycles used within organizations today easily map to these three high-level phases: ideate, plan, and execute. And we've built 1PPM around this approach and around this process, of course, with variations possible in a configuration that our consultants will deploy. We've developed this tool to map at a high level to these high-level phases. So what are they? Ideate is the initiation phase in which ideas are collected and projects are proposed. Essentially, your organization builds out business drivers to capture the company's strategy and to guide ideation, and members within your project management office, within the organization itself, are able to submit new ideas for projects, or what sometimes is known as a demand management or demand managed approach. Planning is the phase within this life cycle where we're doing high-level preliminary planning of projects. So Microsoft PPM helps you to prioritize those projects. There's an entire portfolio analysis and prioritization function built within Project Online native to the solution. And our 1PPM solution takes that and greatly simplifies it so that you can get up and running with Project Online quickly without a lot of investment in learning or configuration around portfolio analysis. So we simplify that whole planning and decision-making approach. So Microsoft PPM helps you to do prioritization around budget and resource constraints, and 1PPM augments that, provides a tool to facilitate that process of planning and supporting detailed and realistic planning. Execution, of course, is the delivery of the projects. So once you've decided which projects make sense for the organization, which projects you have budget for and resources for, you then proceed with the execution and the delivery of those. So it's the project delivery phase, strongly important, or it's critical throughout this phase to focus on collaboration with involved stakeholders, and you'll see how 1PPM contributes to that and adds to that functionality. So all of this is built on Microsoft's cloud, built on Office 365, and Project Online, together with 1PPM, weave together the cloud services from Microsoft that power that PPM solution through collaboration, and you'll see quite a bit of that with the use of the tool, how it's built on SharePoint, and how we work with other tools from Microsoft. Advanced analytics that provide insights, and you'll see quite a bit of that again within this solution walkthrough today around OnePPM and how we built insights into the tool natively with our reporting capabilities. And then finally, the ability to customize and extend the solution. And while today we'll be looking at a configuration of Project Online through the OnePPM delivery, Wickersoft does have a number of other products within the OnePPM family of products, such as OneConnect, that help to extend our solutions and meeting additional needs within your organization, such as integration with other line of business systems. We'll move on to OnePPM in a moment and walk you through what that solution looks like. But let's talk for a few minutes about deployment options and how the Wickersoft services team can help you build out a Project Online deployment with OnePPM. So we do, of course, bring best practices to the table with the OnePPM solution, but one size, as we've written here, does not fit all, absolutely not. So OnePPM brings to the table some foundational best practices around views, workflows, templates for workspaces, standardized business drivers, etc. And then on top of that, we augment that configuration through different levels of customized deployment options. So a basic implementation where OnePPM gets deployed with minimal changes, and we train you and do project training and do support afterwards, all the way through to a complete select implementation where we take OnePPM and truly build on that for a completely customized deployment, again, based on what your organizational needs are, what your budget is, what the scope of the project is, etc. So our account executives and our services team are happy to help you through some of those different options around deployment. We have a number of different types of consulting services in addition to implementation services. Consider from Wickersoft as part of your deployment, education and training, how you're going to bring your organization up to speed on how to use Project Online, how to better manage projects, everything from project management principles to the use of the tool and the customized use of the tool as it's been configured or customized to meet your business approaches, your workflows, etc. We have a customer success and support organization for 24/7 support, dial-in phone support if you've simply got a question, or if you have some technical issues you're trying to address with Project Online or other tools that you're using alongside Project Online with Office 365. And then finally, advisory or staffing services. So whether you have a PMO in place or not, we can help. We can augment your PMO staff. We can run the service or operate it for you if you'd like. So Project Online, being a cloud-based service, permits us to offer that sort of service remotely as we do consulting and advisory services. And then finally, our team takes an iterative deployment methodology, very agile in our approach, where as we deploy Project Online, as we roll out OnePPM for you, we're going quickly through this in quick sprints to design, build, and then test the deployment and what we've built to date, then go back through that design, build, and test cycle. So our account executives and our services managers, again, are happy to speak to anyone who's interested in doing a deployment project online with Wickersoft and the OnePPM solution about how our deployment methodologies can quickly get you up and running, quickly bring value to your organization from Project Online. So let's talk about OnePPM, and let's talk about the ideate, plan, and subsequent execution phases of using this tool. We're going to go through a couple of iterations of looking at a slide around ideation and then walking through a demonstration. We'll return back and talk about planning, another demo, execution, another demo, and then we'll wrap up the webinar. So lots of show and tell this afternoon, if you would, as we look through what the OnePPM solution looks like. So around ideation, Wickersoft's OnePPM solution helps to simplify idea collection, and it provides a process for the review and workflow of ideas as they transition to projects. For non-project type work, built into our OnePPM solution, we also have a service requests app, which provides an inexpensive solution for IT service management. So let's take a look at the OnePPM solution for ideation. we'll see how this tool helps to submit new project requests, how project management office staff or executives can view those requests, and also how that service request app works for submission into the IT service desk of help requests from the team. So this is Project Online, and it's an interface that we've configured for our demonstration environment. You'll see some elements of OnePPM in this demonstration environment and some other areas based on some of the other assets that Wickersoft has in the OnePPM, OneConnect, OnePlan family of products. So this Project Online deployment is similar to what you'll see, but there are some additional elements that we might see during the demo that are outside of the OnePPM and a traditional basic deployment. The tool comes with a carousel, easily configurable, so that users can quickly navigate through to submission of new ideas, or viewing the work that they've been assigned to, completing a timesheet, or viewing the projects to which they've been assigned, and review where other team members on those projects are working as well. It's a quick launch navigation bar on the side. Off to the left, easily configurable. Part of our OnePPM deployment is a reconfigure or a rework of this to highlight, for example, for team members where they go in and submit timesheets or request time off, or where they go in and submit ideas for new projects and new demand. And of course, there's that service request area in the bottom. So before we go and look at the Ideation app, let's first go and look at what someone within the PMO office or an executive would see as they're reviewing the new ideas that have been submitted through this tool. After all, this process is not only about collection of those, but about prioritization, about examining the value of those new submissions, and a OnePPM report to highlight those ideas is critical to the success of that whole process. So as I click on this reports link within the OnePPM Project Online environment, I'm taken to a OnePPM reports page. You'll see on this screen that built into OnePPM, we provide the tool with a number of different reports. Now there's more information about this available from our Wickersoft website. If you navigate to the website, and I have some information about that at the end of the presentation, you'll see information about OnePPM, and you'll see some detailed information about the reports that we provide with the OnePPM solution. So in this list of reports, you'll see there's a OnePPM project status report, project costs, etc. Here's the project requests report, the one where we see all of those ideas that have been submitted through that Ideation application, which is part of OnePPM. So I'm going to render the OnePPM project request report. Here we see it on screen. I'll flip to full screen, and we'll be able to navigate through and look at this report a little easier. Here's the report showing us new requests that have been submitted by priority, new requests by alignment to our business strategy, and then requests by type, such as project requests that are focused on security or cloud computing. Of course, we see a list in the bottom of this report showing us the titles of those different submissions, the types, other information, including the estimated cost and estimated benefits within this view. So it's very easy to navigate this. If you're someone within the PMO looking at these new requests that have been submitted, I can go to request by alignment. I want to view all of the high alignment requests. And if I'm focused within my particular area of responsibility on security type projects, I can very quickly click on that donut bubble chart and say control click here. And now we have a filtered view showing us, oh, there's a submission or a new project idea to implement a network threat detection tool. We see the estimated costs and the estimated benefits related to this particular project. So very easy to navigate within this tool to view different types of projects that have been submitted, again, by alignment or priority. And of course, these reports can easily be configured. If they don't quite meet your needs out of the box, our consultants can help you make adjustments to those, and you can subsequently add additional elements for filtering, grouping, or viewing the information later on in the process. So let's go take a look at the Ideation app and see how users are able to submit new ideas into the tool. So by clicking on the ideas link in the Project Online main interface. I land on the Ideation App. You'll see here there's a list of newly submitted projects by request date, such as new, in review, or approved. As users drop in new items through the tool, they're able to classify these new requests, give it a title, the type of the project, who the sponsor is, capture other information about these new requests that help you in the prioritization and the subsequent ranking of those requests. So if I open up the Sinbell project automation request that's currently in review, here it is in this tab, we'll see that we've collected a title, some details about it, information to help us prioritize this project, such as the fact that this particular project is going to have a medium impact on one of our key business drivers for the organization of improving employee retention. And we also estimate that this project will have a medium risk. And this type of information is important to gather so that we can start to categorize and rank or attain a value ranking for our projects. And of course, these different elements are going to be are configurable and will need to be modified as we do the deployment to respect what your sorts of focus on key strategic business drivers are within your organizations. The benefits area allows us to collect information about anticipated financial benefits of delivering this project. So we see that in 2018 and 2019, we'll have a variety of different financial benefits that we'll see from this Sinbell project automation submission. And then finally, once these projects have been submitted into the tool, if we look at this particular project, which has been approved, I'll highlight the project. We'll see that it has a prioritization score of 67. It has a high priority, and we can see other details about this particular project. Helps us to understand why this was approved and why it was workflowed through to that approved state. And at that point, when we're ready, we can take that project request and move it from ideation or a newly submitted project demand into a project within Project Online. I just simply click on Create Projects, fill in a small amount of additional information to map these various fields, and off we go. This new customer support portal has been moved over and is now available as a project to manage within the Project Online environment. As I mentioned earlier, in addition to ideation, we also support service requests as an app within Project Online and OnePPM. So opening up a service request is as easy as clicking on new items within this service request app. And what we see here is a list of newly submitted service requests, including ones that aren't started, that are in progress, perhaps waiting on someone else within the organization, your stage gates, and the other information you gather about these service requests is very easily configurable. Our consultants, as part of the deployment, will walk you through making some changes to these to reflect your service request approach, but the app is ready to use out of the box. If I open up one of these submitted requests, we'll see, for example, that this particular request, titled "Everyone on the east side of the office has Wi-Fi issues." We've gathered information about this, including the type of request, what sort of service is required for this. And then there's other details possible to collect within this app, such as closure information, notes that we may have taken during the work that took place to manage this particular service request. There's also the possibility, if a service request comes in and it's determined that this particular service request is of significant enough importance or would require enough work to require a project, we can transition a service request into a project as well. So as I demonstrated during our ideation solution in this ideation demo, you saw how our ideation solution for OnePPM helps to simplify idea collection, and it provides a process for the review and workflow of ideas as they transition to projects. So users can submit new demand for work. The project management office and executives can view that within the reporting solution and then transition those new ideas into full-blown projects once you're ready to manage them and deliver them within the Project Online and OnePPM environment. So let's move on to planning. So planning's where we need to select which projects are delivered, which ones we have enough budget for and enough resources for. So once a decision's been made to transition an idea over to a project, further analysis and consideration may still be required. If you wish, it's easy to just start working on that project, but your organization may have a process that requires a little deeper consideration, a little further analysis before those projects are finally approved for delivery. So the development of a business case is important, as it facilitates a better understanding of the value presented by that proposal. So the collection of information related to the project's objectives, benefits, the financials, of course, and even items such as a stakeholder analysis is important to the development of that business case. So let's take a look at how OnePPM delivers on this planning process, where we are at this point still not certain we're going to deliver on these projects. We want to gather additional information and examine how we're going to transition this in to a full-blown project if we have indeed enough budget, enough resources, and the business case merits that for that delivery. So if I return back to this PPM project requests report, you'll see that there's ways we can examine the information as we start to develop a better understanding of whether or not this project makes sense, moving it from an idea to a full-blown project, and then taking into consideration some of the value that potentially would be delivered by that project. So this cost versus benefits by type report is important as well. We see here on this particular report that we're charting estimated costs versus estimated benefits, and they should be generally aligned. Security type projects, we see that they have a low cost and high benefits, whereas mobile are unfortunately the opposite in that there's high costs and low benefits. So the reverse is true here. Mobile projects are not really projects that we should be focusing on right now. Very expensive, very few perceived benefits, whereas security is the opposite, and that's the type of project that we would indeed want to focus on through the delivery of that particular project that's been submitted into the tool. We also see within this chart a comparison of the prioritization of the projects, how they ranked or how they scored based on the values that were submitted, such as a risk score, the impact on some of our key business drivers and other values, other information that we've gathered in the business case, compared to the estimated benefits. So of course, you can very quickly look at this project, implement a network threat detection tool. That's that security type project, high benefits, fairly high prioritization. It's a good target for something that we should be delivering. So we transition those project requests into the project tool, and at that point in time, it becomes visible in our project center view. So if I look at this view and sort in a project summary view, which is the default view for most members, we'll see that we have projects that have been submitted into the tool and dropped in as requested. These are the newly transitioned ideas that have moved over to the project center. And then we have projects that have been approved, and finally others that are in progress and being delivered. So these requested projects are the brand new ones that were just dropped into the project center, came over as ideas, and at this point we can easily approve them and move them through to delivery or in progress or execution, or we can carry on collecting additional information about those projects and whether or not they make sense for the organization or not. Again, the state of these projects, requested, approved, in progress, that's all configuration that our consultants can help you with. Our OnePPM deployment comes with some out-of-the-box types of views and information related to the life cycle of the delivery of these projects, but our consultants are there to help you configure that to meet your needs and how you intend to deliver projects within your organization. Another way of viewing that information that we saw a moment ago in the project center in a much more visual way is through this project timeline view, where we see by default the view provides us information about the projects based on that same life cycle that we saw in the project center. So here we see projects that are requested, approved, and in progress. and it really quickly helps us visualize what's happening within this portfolio of projects through the whole project timeline view, again, available as the OnePPM report pack that's included with OnePPM. So clicking here highlights those projects which are currently requested, or the ones that are approved or in progress are easily highlighted. And within this view, we can say, okay, we're interested in creating competitive advantages. I want to see the projects that'll have an impact on that. And very quickly, this view filters to show us those specific projects related to that type of approach. Clicking on requested, we see there's 4 of them in there that are focused on that particular area. So at this point in time, we want to gather additional information about these projects to build out that business case. So each one of those projects that's been submitted in as an idea that's currently in the requested stage has a OnePPM project workspace that's been created for the project so that we can then go in and gather additional information. So throughout the life cycle, this workspace will live with that project. The entire delivery team will have access to this. Anyone working on this VoIP phone project will be able to navigate through to this OnePPM workspace, work on documents, converse using this news feed, or as you'll see here in this carousel, click on action items to work on things that have been assigned to team members for working, manage risks or manage issues, or easily navigate from this workspace back to the project online environment to view their work or submit a timesheet if you've deployed timesheets within your organization. So throughout this process, we're gathering information about the projects to capture information that's going to help us make a decision as to whether or not to deliver on that project. So in this case, we could gather information, for example, about the objectives of the project, or we could view information about the perceived benefits for that, or requirements associated with the project. All of these are apps that are delivered within the OnePPM project workspace configuration. This gets deployed and implemented within your organization for your use. And if any of these apps are areas that you don't anticipate using, it's easy to remove those, change that configuration, and remove, for example, that whole objectives, benefits, requirements, or other apps from the interface so that your users aren't seeing them and aren't exposed to that type of information. If I flip to yet another report, you'll see how that information that we're rendering from that OnePPM project workspace is visible to stakeholders within the organization. So here we see a chart showing us project objectives for that VoIP phone project rendered in a very usable report to show us the objectives, descriptions, the status of those, whether or not they've been completed or in progress, etc. On the benefits page, we see information about the perceived benefits of delivering this project. This is very useful in scoring or ranking the projects and helping you, again, make a determination of whether or not this particular project is applicable to your organization, whether or not it makes sense to deliver it effectively, whether or not it's worthwhile and makes the cut for delivery for the team. And then finally, I can look at the requirements for this project and see yet another chart to identify project requirements that are important or critical to the delivery lifecycle of the project. So I'll repeat, this is all part of OnePPM built into the project workspace, and these reports are included with the OnePPM deployment, adding value to your organization immediately out of the box. So back to that project workspace area, if I go and look at the financials related to this project, let's see what the interface looks like. Easy to use, easy to reconfigure. If you want different views or different sortings or different types of information being gathered around financials, we have an example here of the default OnePPM configuration where we're looking at a budget view by category, and categories include contract labor, software, equipment. You can change this view around on the fly to show the budget by expense type. So we have capital and operational expenses that are anticipated year over year with totals and estimated expenses or financials associated with this project easily viewable. I mentioned stakeholders earlier. So stakeholders within the organization are critical for the delivery lifecycle. We need to know who's invested in this, who's receiving benefit from it, who needs a different communication strategy than others within the organization. So who are our influencers, who's highly involved, who supports it, all of that can be captured within this stakeholders app. And then of course we can view that information once again in the OnePPM report pack. Looking at project stakeholders here, we see a view that shows us who has high influence and high involvement. So those are the individuals that we need to focus on as we deploy this project, as we approve it. These are the individuals that require greater communication, greater involvement with the lifecycle delivery of the project. And then finally, on the financials report, again, rendering that information from that OnePPM project workspace, we're able to view that in this PPM project financials report. So very visual, very easy to consume the details and the estimated budget, the estimated forecast or actuals for these projects as they're being delivered once they've been approved. So as I demonstrated, the OnePPM solution facilitates the collection of detailed project information across a wide variety of areas. So as you're building out the business case for your projects, OnePPM enables those teams to develop those business cases and to complete the project planning process with ease. So now we execute on the plan. We've decided to deliver this project. And at this point, we're going to use Project Online with Wickersoft's OnePPM solution to enable your project teams. So everyone from executives to team members needs to collaborate to ascertain success for the delivery of this project. And OnePPM supports this process of data collection and status reporting. So let's take a look at how OnePPM enables your team success as they start to execute, as we're orchestrating that execution and help to ensure performance and outcomes are on track throughout that delivery lifecycle. So once again, I'll return to and illustrate how that execution phase is easily visible within the OnePPM report pack and this portfolio dashboard, which shows us an overview of projects, portfolios, programs, etc. Highlights the issues, risks, budget and work, all of the different information needed to report on a dashboard of projects and see information about their timeline, their costs, and their work. If I click on the Summary tab, you'll see where we have a detailed view of the different projects by portfolio. So our application portfolio, our Create Competitive Advantages portfolio, and the Cut Cost portfolio, all built from a collection of different projects. We see due dates and percent complete, other high-level information. And if we focus in on one of those projects, the one we've been looking at so far, this VoIP phones project, we see some KPI indicators within this report that help us understand the status of that particular project. And your executives can drill through from this view and very quickly go and look with this link at the details of that particular project. So you have drill through capability to show you all of the details right from this portfolio summary dashboard. So clicking that link takes me through to the homepage for that VoIP phones project. And now as an executive, if I want to drill through and start to look at information about why this particular project is showing red around scheduling, or why it's showing red or yellow around items such as risks or issues or other elements that the team is tracking as they're delivering it using the OnePPM Project Online solution, they can drill through quickly to look at, as an example, risks. So here's our risks, a couple that have been identified, that have been assigned to various users within the organization. And of course, that view not only shows us the detail, but leads us to yet another PPM project risk report. So again, within the OnePPM report pack, we ship a variety of different types of reports. Here's the portfolio dashboard, and we can focus in on risks across the portfolio project and see high impact, high probability type risks, the ones that we really need to focus on, highlighted in red within this report. Native to Project Online is the Project Center, and the OnePPM solution adds value there as well. So it's not just that OnePPM project workspace, not just the collection of reports, but throughout the Project Online experience, you'll see elements of OnePPM that our consultants deliver as they take our best practices and deploy that within your organization. So in this view, we're seeing a list of projects with KPI health indicators concerning the overall health of the project, schedule health, cost health, etc. Some of these indicators are manually set and others are automatically set based on best practice calculations to show us, for example, that the schedule's turned yellow when you're 10% over schedule or turned red when you're 20% over schedule. And if you don't like those tolerances or don't like the look and feel of these particular views, our consultants are there to help you reconfigure them, get them looking the way your organization analyzes projects and the way your organization wishes to consume the details about those projects. If I click through the details of that VoIP phone project, we'll see that within these views, we also get a schedule view showing us, once again, KPI indicators about those particular project tasks. So in the VoIP phones project, we see that the initiating phase, a couple of the sub-phases within that bit of work have gone well, but all of a sudden the project's turned a little red because we have some issues in the setup project environment process and in the defining scope process. So things were baselined and these tasks have turned from green to red because we have an issue and we've overrun our schedule. So visual indicators built in throughout the tool, not only at the summary project center view, but right within the individual project schedules as well. And then finally, as users are using Project Online, this VoIP phones project allows us easy access to the same information that's in that OnePPM workspace. So benefits, financials, stakeholder analysis, it's all there. And we have status reporting built right into Project Online with our OnePPM project report view. So in this particular view, as I go to full screen, we see a one-pager project status report showing us live information from that project. As I scroll down, you'll see I have easy access to all of those other reports that we've been looking at in those other views. So if I look at that stakeholders report or that view there, we see that. If I look at financials, I'll see the same information there as well. So all of the details of the various project reports, the information that we've seen in the OnePPM workspace, visible within Project Online as part of these status reports. So as I've demonstrated, Wickersoft's OnePPM solution facilitates effective project delivery, helps you with the execution on your corporate strategies, and renders information in an easily consumable manner through our OnePPM report pack that's included with the tool and with the solution. So now you've seen how Microsoft PPM and Wickersoft's OnePPM solution can bring value and productivity quickly and effectively to your organization. Our ideation solution simplifies idea collection and provides a process for review and workflow of ideas as they transition to projects. Our planning tools enable teams to develop business cases and to complete that project planning with ease. And then finally, during the execution phase of your projects, we provide comprehensive reporting solution enabling effective communications for all stakeholders. So just as a bit of a wrap up, a few words about Wickersoft. Wickersoft was a joint venture formed with Microsoft in 2002. We have a global footprint with offices globally throughout the world, and in particular in North America, you'll see we have a wide variety of offices and staff available to help you. We have a consulting business, training and support business, and of course a managed services business as well. We're a gold certified partner of Microsoft's with gold certifications in project and portfolio management, collaboration and content, and cloud productivity. We have a client-focused, proven track record with thousands of customers that we've satisfactorily delivered tools and solutions to. We'll assist you with your enterprise productivity transformations. So business applications such as OnePPM, OneConnect, other tools that we've built around project and portfolio management and project delivery. Our consulting services get you up and running quickly, education and training to support you in terms of knowledge transfer and learning experiences for your staff. And then finally, staffing or managed services, all part of the Wickersoft family of tools. So that's it for today's webinar. If you want to learn more, come visit us at www.wickersoft.com, see our project-online.com website, or you can revisit this webinar via our on-demand location or see our upcoming webinars. Pretty much every Thursday, month over month, we're running webinars on a variety of different subjects. If you need to get in touch with us, please connect with us at contact@wickersoft.com. And with that, that's the end of the webinar. Mike, I'll turn it back over to you.